Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really cracking open the source code of reality. It's this challenging idea that reality isn't just out there, fixed, but maybe it's more like a responsive field, something constantly being programmed by,
Yeah.
well, by our own consciousness.
It's a huge cognitive shift, isn't it? I mean, if you've ever felt like life was just happening to you, this deep dive is really about how you can switch places, how you can become the author. And the core idea we're exploring here is this operating system metaphor, your consciousness. It works just like a computer's OS.
Right. And what we found in the sources is most people are running the factory installed version. And frankly, it's often a pretty buggy version.
That's the default OS, yeah. It gets installed unconsciously through, culture, trauma, media, all of it. And the archetypes it runs on, they tend to be kind of weak, often random, like the victim or the stressed worker, the consumer. The issue isn't just that life's hard, it's that the internal code is often chaotic. And reality, because it reflects, just shows you back that chaos. Suboptimal performance.
So the mission today isn't just about fixing a few bugs. It's like installing a whole custom OS, doing it deliberately, choosing and integrating these powerful mythic patterns. What actually changes when you do that?
Well, it's about total optimization. When your internal setup, your architecture, is coherent, reality responds coherently. You shift from being dictated by circumstances to actually shaping outcomes. So our goal today is to give you the three key technologies for that shift: archetypal structure, reality coding, and the guidance system, which is synchronicity.
Okay, let's unpack this consciousness upgrade. Part 1. Installing powerful archetypes. We really need to clarify what these are because the sources define them as way more than just symbols.
Oh, absolutely. They're called consciousness templates, fundamental patterns. But the really potent idea is seeing them as morphogenetic fields. Sounds technical, I know, but think of them like powerful, pre-existing Wi-Fi signals out there in the universe. Collective thought forms, basically, packed with energy built up over thousands of years. When you consciously choose one, you're tapping into an established reality attractor. It defines your permissions in the system.
That word permissions feels really key. Let's look at the practical difference that makes, how reality responds.
Okay, take someone running that default OS, maybe unconsciously identifying with the victim archetype. Their internal identity is basically saying, things happen to me. And the field responds to that signal. It brings more experiences where they feel powerless, their permissions are limited.
But say you deliberately install the warrior archetype, your identity shifts. I face challenges with courage, with strength. Reality still brings challenges, that's life, right? But the response changes.
Exactly. It brings worthy opponents, maybe, or opportunities for victory, because now you have the permission to overcome.
And that's why using these established templates is so powerful.
Precisely. You tap into thousands of years of collective energy. It's like standing on giants. You access ready-made power instead of trying to build something coherent just from your own small field.
And the sources even break this power down into tiers to help with selection.
Right. Tier 1, the weakest level. That's your cultural defaults. Good citizen, hard worker, useful for society, maybe, but they often reinforce limitation. Reality doesn't get very excited. Then you step up. Tier 3, the named archetype. Warrior, sage. These activate that massive collective field. Real power there.
But then there's tier 5 for the real high-performance users, the synthesis archetype.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. Combining multiple fields, like running two powerful processors together, a warrior sage, maybe, power plus wisdom, or a magician messenger, deep knowledge and clear communication. That kind of unity creates a unique, exponentially stronger field.
Okay, now here's the bit that sounds tricky. The installation requirement that apparently trips up most people.
The shadow. Ah, yes, the shadow. You cannot embody an archetype's power, its light, without fully accepting its capacity for shadow. Let's say you want Mercury's gifts: speed, communication, wit. You have to acknowledge the potential for trickery, lies, manipulation that also comes with that energy.
And if you try to just pick the good bits, the sources say the archetype rejects the installation. What does that look like for someone trying this?
Well, it often manifests as self-sabotage. Inconsistent results. You might feel powerful inside, but your external reality just doesn't seem to cooperate. It's like the universe senses the inauthenticity because you're denying half the pattern. And sometimes the archetype's shadow side can even turn against you. Maybe you experience trickery from others, or things just keep going wrong unpredictably. You have to own the capacity for the shadow, even if you consciously choose not to act it out. That integration is key.
That makes sense. The system requires honesty, authenticity. Okay, so once we have this powerful integrated archetype installed, how do we actually start programming? Setting commands to the field. That brings us to part two, the programming language frequency and timeline selection.
Right, and we have to keep coming back to that core idea. Reality is a responsive field of possibility. It crystallizes based on what consciousness puts in. The programming language, according to our sources, relies on coherence across three main variables. They call it the reality equation.
Okay, what are they?
Intentions, that's the what, clear thought forms. Emotions, that's the fuel L, this is crucial. And action, that's the momentum. Even small actions count. Now, the fuel part, the emotion, is the accelerator. Joy and love, they're the fastest manifestation speeds. High-frequency, coherent signals. Fear and anger, on the other hand, well, they powerfully manifest what you resist. If you're intensely afraid of something, you're pouring strong, coherent energy into that scenario, effectively attracting it.
The sources get really specific here, though, with this frequency timer. The 17-second and 68-second rule. Why the specific times? Shouldn't a responsive field be instantaneous?
It's about energy accumulation, building momentum in the field. So to get the field to even start reorganizing subtly, you need to hold a chosen, coherent emotional frequency for about 17 seconds. That gets its attention. But to lock in a new trajectory, something stable that impacts the physical world around you, the sources emphasize 68 seconds of sustained, coherent frequency. It seems to take that long for the subtle energy to build enough momentum to actually affect matter.
Wow. Holding a high frequency like joy for 68 seconds straight.
Yeah.
That must feel incredibly difficult when you're stressed or things are chaotic.
It is. It's the discipline of the programmer, really. But that discipline is what enables timeline jumping. The sources are pretty clear. The multiverse concept is real. And you're constantly selecting which probability track, which timeline you experience next.
So we're not creating from scratch, but navigating possibilities that already exist. How do we deliberately tune into a specific one? Say, the timeline where you're already successful in some area.
It's called the frequency match method, like tuning an old radio dial. You don't build a new radio station, you just find the right frequency. You need to identify and then embody the feeling frequency of the version of you that already exists in that desired reality. You have to hold that feeling, that expectation, even if your current reality seems to contradict it.
And if you manage the jump successfully, the sources say look for shift indicators, like these Mandela effects.
Exactly. For anyone unfamiliar, Mandela effects are those strange moments where your memory doesn't quite match the reality you're now in. Subtle things. A logo looks different than you swear it did. A historical detail changes. Or maybe people around you just start behaving slightly differently towards you because they're interacting with the new, higher frequency version of you.
That really challenges our whole idea of linear time and causality. But the most mind-bending technique mentioned is the retroactive reality edit. The claim that you can actually change the past.
That's what the discovery suggests, yeah. It sounds wild, I know. But the logic is, the past only really exists now as a memory, right? A thought form in the present. So if you change your present relationship to a past limiting event, find the meaning, the lesson, the gift in it, then the present reality has to reorganize itself around that new past.
Okay, but is that just changing your internal story? How do we know the actual external past or its effects change? What's the evidence?
Well, the evidence cited is usually in the ripple effects observed after the internal shift. For instance, if you reprogram a past trauma into a source of strength, people connected to that old story might suddenly relate to you differently now. Or physical limitations you had, which were maybe anchored to that trauma's energy, might start to dissolve. It's presented not just as mental reframing, but as an energetic release that literally updates the field's history file for you.
Fascinating. Really makes you think. Okay, so we've got the structure archetypes and the code frequency and timelines. Now we need the feedback loop, the debugging system, basically. Part 3, synchronicity mastery.
Exactly. Synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences, are defined here as direct communication from a responsive universe. They're not random, they're confirmations. Reality essentially saying, yep, code's clean, you're on the right track.
And the sources give a clear method for starting this dialogue. The dialogue development protocol starts with asking a specific question.
Yes. Start your day with a focused, specific morning question. Not just what should I do, but something targeted, like what's one action today that aligns me with the warrior sage archetype? Then comes the listening part, which is often the hardest.
So I ask the question, how do I tell the signal from just random noise?
It's about pattern recognition. You need to watch for responses that repeat. The magic number seems to be 3 or more times. That's the universe highlighting something, saying, pay attention, this isn't random, it's guidance.
Right.
Once you spot that pattern, maybe the same phrase or number or image keeps showing up, you have to consciously acknowledge receipt.
Acknowledgement. So you literally say, okay, universe, thank you, message received.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the most crucial step, take action. Based on whatever the clearest guidance was, synchronicities show you the path, but they don't walk it for you. Ignoring the guidance, that kind of breaks the connection.
And reality seems to have its own vocabulary here. The sources help decode it. We have numbers, which lots of people know, but maybe a quick cheat sheet.
Sure, numbers are like directional signs. Seeing 555 repeatedly often signals big changes coming. 777 is like a high five from the universe, divine alignment, keep going.
Yeah.
And 1111 is often seen as a portal opening, a moment of high manifestation potential. Make a wish, set an intention.
And it's not just numbers, right? It extends to the environment, animal messengers.
Definitely. Seeing a hawk or eagle frequently might mean you need a higher perspective, zoom out. A butterfly often means transformation is happening right now, and you should pay attention to environmental signs. Overheard conversations that directly answer your question, song lyrics that pop out. Even license plates can have meaningful codes. Reality uses whatever's handy.
Okay. And finally, there's this amplification key, something that multiplies the whole process, the gratitude multiplier.
Yes. This is like the fastest power boost for the guidance system. Acknowledged synchronicities tend to multiply. The practice is simple but needs discipline. When you spot one, just stop for a second, say, thank you, maybe out loud, and genuinely feel appreciation.
Why does the gratitude itself make them multiply?
Well, gratitude itself is a very high-frequency, coherent state. It makes you a better receiver, basically. More tuned in. You're signaling back to the universe, yes, I'm listening. I appreciate the guidance. And the sources suggest you can see a significant increase, like 5 to 10 times more synchronicities pretty quickly just by applying this consciously.
What really stands out is that synchronicity isn't just a nice little sign. It's actually the reality testing mechanism for the whole OS installation we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. If you've successfully installed an archetype and you're holding a coherent frequency, you should see synchronicities increase. You should feel good in that embodiment. If you're getting no feedback, or maybe even negative signs, that suggests resistance, maybe inauthenticity in the code. It's a signal to check your shadow integration, perhaps, or work on holding that 68-second frequency more consistently.
So let's bring it all together. What does having these three technologies, archetypes, frequency, synchronicity, actually mean for someone?
It means you have the full stack, really. Archetypes give you the structure, the permission set, the stable OS. Frequency is the fuel, the programming language itself, determining the speed of manifestation. And synchronicity is the guidance system, the feedback loop, the debugger.
And the ultimate shift isn't just about what you achieve externally, is it? It's about who you become internally. Moving from that feeling of unconscious creation,
Right.
maybe being a victim of reality, to conscious creation, to really owning that identity as the author of your reality.
Exactly. And the final thought here, it pushes even beyond the individual. Every single person who gets good at this, who masters this consciousness technology, they don't just upgrade their own life, they actually contribute to the collective morphic field of awakening.
So that collective field, it means as more people install a conscious OS, it gets easier for everyone else. We're kind of collectively debugging the entire planetary operating system just by mastering ourselves.
That's the idea. The invitation isn't just self-help. It's about becoming a master programmer, contributing to the whole. That potential, that power, it's already installed within you. You just need to activate the custom OS. So the question becomes, what programming will you choose to run tomorrow?